We call the May 11th, 2010 Utility Committee's meeting to order. Roll call. All members are present except Councilman Shake Snyder. Anybody wishing to speak on anything on the agenda, sign up. Got 3 minutes to speak. Invocation be done by Councilman Dempsey and Lambert, following the pledge.
Please bow our head. Dear Lord, thank you for the day. Please give us the strength and wisdom. Do your business here in the parish. We ask all these things in your Son's name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Shake Snyder has arrived. All members are present. Agenda item number 4, DEQ sewer plant notice of intent. Malcolm Dugas.
Good evening, Council. This is a resolution that Jim and I prepared for the Council's consideration at the next meeting. It's dealing with the a notice of intent to issue not to exceed $18 million in sewer revenue bonds. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I came to you and discussed the sewer project for the parish. And this is just the first step. This will come up at the next council meeting. I have a timeline that I passed out at the last meeting, at the last Utilities Committee meeting I attended, which sets out basically what needs to be done in order to get this approved before the end of the year. If you have any questions with regards to this, I'll be glad to answer them now. Jim Ryan's here. Jim is the financial advisor on this project, and but you also have a chance to review it, and we'll be at the next council meeting if you have any questions.
Gentlemen, review it and need to entertain a motion to move this to the council meeting, the next council meeting.
Move to have this resolution presented at the next council meeting as written.
Motion by Councilman Shake Snyder, second by Councilman Cullen. Any opposition to the motion? None. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 5, sewer plant update. Ms. Jackie Bowman, Chief Engineer, DPW.
Good evening, committee. I spent all of last week just trying to get the pieces and parts of the sewer project together. I'm still getting my feet wet, trying to get all of the timelines together to give you the details. At this time, I'm still compiling information. It's a little bit overwhelming, but we're going to have all the pieces and parts pulled together. I have a lot of meetings set up with the Corps, Bond Commission, our attorneys. So at this point, I can just tell you I'm getting my feet wet.
Okay, Parish President Martinez, you have anything?
Well, we received a request for proposals from our attorney, Fred Chevalier, Friday. We're going to look it over. We're going to meet with him next Wednesday to make sure that that's good. And at that point, we're going to put out the proposal and ask for the private-public partnership. We are constantly meeting with BASF to get the right-of-way and certainly the parcel of land for the outfall. Working with the Corps, meet on a regular basis on Tuesdays. So, we're going to look at this project. We're going to look at it hard. We're going to study it hard. And the bottom line is we're going to try and come up with a proposal that's going to offer $45 or less sewer fee. That's kind of what the council has mandated. And make sure that that happens. Now, if we can't come to some sort of understanding and we don't have enough customers to actually feed the plant, well, then we'll have to look in another direction. But hopefully that won't happen, and hopefully the proposals that we get in will answer all those questions. But my main goal is to make sure that the day that that plant comes online, that we have enough customers to feed it and enough revenue to pay off the bonds that the parish, the loan that we are making with DEQ. So, you know, that's going to be my job and Jackie's job, and that's what we're going to be looking at.
President, I spoke to Mr. Dugas about this a little bit, and we got to have the amount that we're going to charge sewer fee and nail allowance when we go to DEQ.
Certainly have that. We're going to have to do that because we're going to have to show the ability to pay off the loan. So, again, that's going to be part of the proposal. That's going to be part of us working with Hartman, GC, and the Corps to come up with those type of situations. Now, we do have a timeline that we're trying to meet. I'd like to get this thing off the ground if we're going to do it before the end of the year. You know, if not, we can always ask for an extension, but I'd rather not at this point. I'd rather move forward because the more, if we get a good solid proposal, I'm going to suggest that we move forward.
So we're going to stick with $45 or less.
Well, that's what y'all
That's what we,
charged us to do. So,
okay.
You know, if we can't meet that number, then we have to look at other options.
Any, Councilman Shake Snyder, you have anything? Councilman Johnson? Collins? Lambert?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the, how about manpower? Have we looked at the, what we have on staff, including this?
We have Mr. Ben Laurie, who's on staff, that's been following this. He's an engineer. He's dealt with sewer before. We're going to assign him pretty much full-time to this project and other major projects that we're having. So, yes, we will be staffed enough to handle this. We will probably end up hiring someone else to do what Ben's doing now in the Planning Commission.
Yeah, and how many class 1 operators? I know we have Mr. Danny.
I think we have
Before- how many
two
we
class 2 right now.
2?
But in the proposal, we have a class 3 and a class 2, I think.
Okay, and how many?
One class 3, one class 2.
Okay,
But we're not gonna, with the proposal, we're not gonna be operating the system. Once you read the proposal, you're gonna understand. We're not gonna be in charge of operating the system. We're
as
gonna,
long as it's at the end, that this has Ascension Parish on it?
it's gonna have
that's-
Ascension Parish on it.
Yeah, okay, that's what I want to make sure.
So, and you will get a copy of the RFPs that we're putting out. So, and we'll,
Councilman Shake Snyder?
Yes, Jackie, when you have a chance, can we schedule a meeting? Because I did have some meetings with Mr. Grant and some other things about some lines going through the area. So I'd like to get with you on at some point in time, because I did have some meetings with Mr. Grant about some lines, sewer lines going through the area around through the district that I'm located in. So I'd like to bring you up to date on what was discussed then.
We do have some CDBG funds for that area, Hillaryville, Darrow, Estroland. It's $5 million, I think. $5 million. That is completely our charge to get an environmental done, get a design done, and build it. That's another piece of the pie that I'm working on.
Okay.
But I will contact you.
But I can give you the background on that.
Okay, thank you.
you're gonna have to build it with the CBDG grant money. Is gonna have to be in the low income area. You can't move it in the northern part of the parish, so you can't actually come above 44, so.
Anything else, gentlemen? Moving right along, Agenda item number 6, lighting district. We have one speaker, Mr. Oliver Joseph. Mr. Herring couldn't make it. We rode around. We looked at some lights Monday. Monday we looked at lights. We took care of a lot of lights that was out, and I talked to Mr. Bro, and they also looked at lights that we had out, and they generated a list. But when we look at street lights that's out, it's required that we give them an address, a location, where the light's at, and have to give them the address. Most of the people call in, they don't give them the address where the light is out at, and that's one of the issues. But we have a lot of lights that has been out. Mr. Joseph. Councilman Joe, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just put my name on there because the reason the last meeting you had discussed that you was gonna use some funds out of the lighting district to, well, that was up for discussion. And I just wanted to make it clear that I was opposed of taking funds from the lighting district to pay someone to ride around to look out and see if lights is out. Real simple, you can call 1-800-ENERGY and give that information. If the light in front of you and you live in the lighting district, I mean, that's the most easiest way. I think we need to educate the public more on it and make them aware of what where your lighting district is, and use the 800 number. It will save us money. Currently, right now, I just passed a feed on lighting district 4, and I just can't see myself spending money on someone to ride around when I ride around and call them 1-800 numbers myself. I mean, it's been working. I know they have some out, but lighting district I'm in is not that many. So I just encourage you not to go along with taking money out of lighting district to pay for someone to ride around. Thank you.
Thank you. President.
I agree with that, Mr. Thompson. But on occasion, councilmen will call in and ask to go do things, and it's DPW workers or drainage workers or whatever will go out and count lights, do whatever. In the mornings, sometimes we send people out to check those lights. So again, somebody's got to pay them, and I don't think Public Works should pay. It should come out of the lighting district. If we had this discussion about drainage a while back, so that's fine with us. If you want to go just by the customers calling, that would be okay with us. But if we have to send somebody out, we need to charge it to whatever it is, whatever lighting district that's being called upon.
Councilman Shea.
Yeah, I mean, one of the problems you have is that you have a lot of lights that are not in any particular residence, and they're not in the particular address. They're just so many poles down the street, and so inherited upon the neighbor or the customer, does not know the contact. In fact, we have to put in a work order to get it fixed over here, and so we call for that work order in for the DPW, and then it goes to Energy, and with the list of lights. So it is a time-consuming thing, and we do involve a number of people in DPW that works on it. So all I was saying, in order to make sure that this happens, that the people are not without lights. In the meantime, we're paying for lights. We're paying for them, whether they're on or off. And so I just want to get them on in as quickly as possible and as economically as possible. And if we come up with a cost, and let's have a proposal and see what it is, I think it's just going to be a very few dollars. Be very.
I agree, Mr.
Yeah.
Sexton. I'm not questioning
so-
that it's a costly deal.
Yeah,
But the situation is that the parish administration is not in charge of lighting districts.
That's right.
The councilmen are in charge of the districts. That
we
they
would
have.
just like to get
Right.
what it would cost so that we can figure out whether it's worthwhile doing that. And then the other thing I want to make sure everyone knows is the lights that are on the interstate in Sorrento on Highway 22 are not the parish lights. They are for the town of Sorrento.
That's correct.
Make sure, if you have concerns about those, please direct that to the town. We are not able to do anything with that. So I know I fielded a number of, calls and tried to let everybody know, but that is jurisdiction of the town of Sorrento, so.
I agree, and we want to help in any way we can, but
Yes.
again, it's kind of hard to pull somebody off a public works job to go check lights and not be reimbursed, so.
President, you have an employee want to speak, you mind? Come on up to the mic, sir.
Hello, I'm Jerry Babin, I work for DPW, I'm the one that ride around and check the lights. I made a package for you, one of y'all. These are the lights that I found that was out, and it's broken down by districts on the state road, excluding the town of Toronto. I want to look at those. Okay, as of the week of April 26th through May 2nd, we conducted a survey on this, and all the attached sheets are my conclusions, lighting districts 1 through 7 and on the state roads. You can see on the very last page it is, the second to last sheet, we have 2,545 lights. And it could be a little bit more. Some of these lights that don't get reported is because they're on dead-end roads, and they just don't get reported. We rode that whole week for all night, really, and some lights work at certain, they'll come on, and you go down the road, turn around, come back, and that same light will be off, So the ones that we have here is what we have, and it's broke down by the district, so, and even by the road. Like in District 6, which is our biggest one, first one is like the Panama Road, it has 3 lights that are out. So if Energy can take this and go down that road and see that they have 3 lights out, they can address.
The thing about this, Mr. Babin, energy goes down in the daytime, and they can't tell which lights are out. Energy has to have the address, the physical address where the light is.
There's a number on the pole.
And it's a number also on the pole, and that's the only way energy could go out and fix the lights.
Okay, we'll have to look into that, or maybe put some white paint on the road at the pole.
But that's the
Some
only way
poles
energy
don't
could.
have no numbers,
Right.
so.
Now I get back to my question. How many hours is it?
A week, 40 hours.
And then that took away from their regular job during the day.
That's why we've been asking for a proposal about how much it would take to do that. Let us know so we can take a look at it so that we can decide whether we want the lighting districts to pay for that. But we need to know a number.
Come back to the mic, Councilman Joe.
It just depends, Ken, how often you want to go and check them. I mean, once a month, you're gonna have to, we can maybe put a proposal together about once a month. And if Mr. Joseph doesn't want his checked, we don't have
That's
to do that.
fine.
It could go lighting district by lighting district.
Well, David Herring and I used to ride around at night, twice a month. Ride around and check the lights and write work orders. But we haven't done it in a while, up until Monday.
Energy they done a survey maybe about 6 years ago. They have every pole identified that we are being paid, that we pay for, and that pole is identified by a number. Now, as far as I know, I don't think the parish ever got their copy of it.
We haven't received, we received the number of light poles we have in the parish, which is like over 32,000 lights. And I do have a map of that, but it don't indicate if it has a light on it or not.
I think Joan Shivers, Gwen LeBlanc should have that map. I seen that map at the parish office where the dots that show where every street light is.
And I have a copy for 2 of my lighting district. So I know they do have it now.
They have it.
So, I mean, that's one piece of information that you need, so those lights that do not have an address, you can identify them by those numbers that Energy have them by. Okay? So, I mean, that's a recommendation that they can go back to Energy and get their copies of those maps.
Yes.
I hear everybody talking, and I agree with it. There's something we need to do with it, but it still comes down to the end thing, like the past president is saying. Somebody's got to pay for it. We can't take a DPW worker or a drainage worker and put them into doing lighting district work and not have the lighting district pay for it. So if I don't know that we could come up with a proposal other than to say that we're going to have an employee at such and such of an hourly rate to go do a lighting check. And if the councilman in that area wants to give permission to charge the lighting district for that service, then okays the parish president to do that at such and such an hour. The gentleman goes out to that particular lighting district, or the worker goes out for that particular lighting district, and whatever the hourly time it takes for him or her to do that report, that's what their lighting district's going to be charged. You know, we don't have to use a supervisor to do it, but someone who has access to a parish vehicle to go out and make that survey, I don't know, I tend to see where the parish president's going with this. I don't know that he could come up with a legitimate proposal other than say we're going to use an individual worker at such and such a rate per hour, and however long it takes him to ride the lighting district and do the survey is what it's going to take. So I don't know if we need to do anything here other than to make it sure that all the councilmen are aware that if they want someone to do a survey of the lighting districts in their area, it's going to cost them X amount of dollars per hour charged to that lighting district to get the survey done.
Well, like Parish President Martinez said, the councilman is in charge of that lighting district. So we could direct the administration to take care, get somebody to go out and check the lights. We don't have to send this to the full council. We can direct President Martinez to send somebody to check the lights and be paid out the lighting district. And if Councilman Joseph doesn't want to do that, that's fine. He control that lighting district.
I agree, and that was my whole point from day one. It's not any contention. It's just a statement.
Okay. Anything else on the lighting district? New, old business? Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Mr. Chairman, if we could just go back to item 4 for a minute on the sewer project. When I mentioned that, and I handed out the notice of intent, included in that notice of intent, and we'll get it in your packet before the meeting, will also be a rate ordinance and a connection ordinance. Those two things have to be included, and Jim can give you a little bit of information on that.
Do we have a figure on the connection?
I think we'll have a figure. I think what we propose to do with the rate ordinance is to do not to exceed $45.
Okay.
That way, you can't go above that, but you can work within that number. And then Jim will tell you about the connection.
And the connection ordinance goes hand in hand with that, Mr. Chairman. It's just an ordinance basically that requires, it really enforces the state sanitary code. The state sanitary code says that if you're within 300 feet of a publicly operated sewer system and you have a private sewer line, drain field, septic tank, whatever, that you are required to tie in to the publicly operated sewer system. But DEQ and the state sanitary code don't have any enforcement mechanism to do that. So they require the parishes, and most parishes have done this. We've probably done it at some point in time in the past. But they require the parishes to adopt, quote, a tie-in ordinance that says if we run, a public water or sewer line, in this case, within 300 feet of your drainage field or your septic system, that you are required under the state sanitary code to tie in. And it's just basically you set the not to exceed rate, and then you set the fact that if they're within 300 feet, they have to tie in. That's all it is.
So whenever y'all, Malcolm, when y'all come up with that language, would y'all make sure that before the meeting that you get it to the Utilities Committee?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll get it. It will certainly be in your packet for the next.
Well, send it to the full council.
It'll be in your packet for the next council meeting.
And that'll just be an introduction, Mr. Chairman, at the next
Right.
council. It'll just be an introduction of those two ordinances, so we won't take any action other than to introduce it, so it'll have to lay over, and you'll have the full 2 weeks for the whole council and everybody else to look at it.
Thank you.
And what we're trying to adhere to, and I think I passed out at the Utility Committee meeting a timeline. If y'all, I'll bring some more of those. We're just trying to adhere to that timeline as close as we can. I mean, we do have some flexibility, but it'd be better if we stuck with it as close as we could. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any, Councilman Lambert?
Yeah, one thing on old business, and I'd like to get Mr. Matiza. Approaching hurricane season here. Are we any closer with these backup generators, or do you have any updated information on that?
Well, we got the trailers, and we supposed to be hooking up according to Rick, the shop was gonna hook up the generators that we own, and we were getting a proposal from a professional company to do the generators at our buildings, which I don't know who that is yet. President might know.
What we doing, them said, I know you're asking about each like per tree, the sewer, each privately owned sewer.
No, we don't.
We
The
haven't.
private loan, nowhere else.
That had to go before the Public Service Commission, and I don't think that ever happened. But what we've done, we bought 6 trailers. We have 6 generators that we'll be able to go around. They'll be mobile to service these in the event this year that we have some sort of occurrence, that we will be able to go out and keep these sewer systems running.
Great. I just
But-
wanted to make sure
We cover.
we covered.
That would be for our systems only. Because, I mean, we would be inundated if you lose power in the parish.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Chase Snyder to adjourn. No opposition, adjourn.